this stream as a guest. It has been a long time since we two talked together about arm wrestling. So thank you very much once again.
Yes, man, it has been way too long. You've been
Yeah.
doing such great things. I still follow like almost every video. Keep it up,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. These live streams at some point they got kind of difficult for me because I don't want to bore people, like the fear of running out of important things to say. That is a real thing. I don't want to just repeat myself again and again. That's why I haven't really done basically any live stream in maybe last 4 or 5 months. Only the special live stream commentary ones, but that's it.
Right. No, it goes in line with your channel for sure. And I think your
Yeah.
quality and the conciseness of the things you've been releasing is steadily improving.
I have relaxed so much, Paul, that just I record the videos, audio in audio format, and I send it to my brother, and that's it. I don't do anything after that. He cuts the audio, then he edits the videos, he puts the thumbnails, he thinks of the titles, he shares the videos, he comments. Sometimes he gives hearts to people, and I also read some comments. Everything he does after that, and I'm like, bro, I don't want like to be so much busy with this work. I need to focus on the next videos immediately.
Yeah, but what you don't know is your brother has recently hired me as his agent, and we're going to be sending you paperwork requesting an increase in pay.
Yeah, we both do 50-50 of whatever the videos make, so I think it has been working
Uh,
out good for me.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So in the first 15 minutes, we'll discuss the basic things about East versus West, and the final 15 minutes will be about the big match, Devon versus Levan. So first of all, how is the atmosphere here, brother? If you compare it to some of the other sports events that you may have went, like how's the atmosphere? Does Engin give you like timings that at this time you need to be present there, except for the obvious things like press conference, photo shoots, and does he give everyday timings to athletes that you need to be here for the dinner at this time and here for this thing at this time?
Absolutely. I mean, he doesn't do it directly. He's got a team of people working. I mean, I'm sure you know Anna Granlund from Sweden. She's kind of like the head, like athlete representative. Like he's got people picking us up from the airport, dropping us off, taking us where we need to go. He's got she controls the complete agenda from merchandise signing to VIP banquet to VIP dinner to press conference to photo shoot, everything. So it wasn't like that in the beginning, but every event gets cleaner and cleaner. And I fully expected Angan to be running around like a chicken with his head cut off because of the stress level around this event, but it couldn't be the opposite. He's almost like a kid in a candy shop. He's enjoying it. Like he loves nothing more than carrying that live camera around during everything we're doing. Yeah, you can you can see he's in his element, and you can also see that the process has gotten smoother for sure over time. So his stress level is down.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. That's what Paul. I think we both were initially telling, and I think that was around East versus West 3 or 4, something like that. That you need to just dilute your responsibility as much as you can to give it to others. And at that time, he was like, "No, bro, that's important. I need to do everything, right from picking athletes from the airport to organizing everything." And I was like, it's not possible. The event, the organization will not grow that way.
Right, and I think at that time, he really only trusted himself. A lot of times, like when we got a lot on the line, we trust ourselves. We want it done right. We got to do it ourselves. I think over time, he's got a lot of people that have kind of proven themselves to be, totally up to snuff for these tasks, and he has kind of let go quite a bit, for sure. So, and I think the quality of the event is a reflection of that too. The other thing about
Yeah.
the atmosphere here, like when you talk about like general atmosphere, like the energy levels. I think one of the first few times that I was over here, I remember John Brzenk pulling, I think Zurab, and that match, was like very highly contested. And I had never been in such a great arm wrestling energy environment than for that match. And you can kind of feel that in the air right now. There's going to be the most amount of spectators ever. There's already the most amount of VIPs. So I think like when you have like such a marquee match like Devon and Levan too, and all the hype around it, the actual physical energy in the building is representative of that hype too.
Yeah. So let's discuss the matches, Paul. First one I want to discuss with you is Brandon versus Stoyan Golemanov. I'll ask you a question. Is Brandon unlucky because of the opponents, the caliber of the opponents that he's getting? First, I think he got David Samushia, and second match Stoyan Golemanov. I don't know much about him, and I'm assuming that you also don't know much about the opponent unless you have recently done a study on him. But a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, like right before this match was announced, Georgi Swetkov was talking so highly about Stoyan. He was like, bro, Stoyan is on another level. You must invite him. And if the super heavyweight, like top five, possibly a top five arm wrestler in the world, is feeling Stoyan so much on the table, then is Brendan Elsesser a good opponent for that guy?
Well, the best news about that is I'm going to let you ask him yourself. You can adjust that.
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. So, how much are you weighing right now? I'm assuming 104, 103, something like that kilos.
I haven't checked the scale in a while. I don't know at the moment. I got to double check with Engen.
Can you tell us something about your opponent? Because we have not done any study on him, but we heard from Georgi Swetkov, and that kind of scared me, to be honest, because he was saying that Stoyan is on another level. His wrist is incredible. So, what are the biggest wins of your opponent that you have seen in your study?
I watched. It's hard to find a lot of footage on Stoyan. I know he was a lot more active like years ago than he has been recently, other than like Bulgarian nationals that he just went to last year. He has a lot of. I haven't really seen anybody take control of his hand other than like John Brzenk, which you can't really. That doesn't say much because he's the GOAT, obviously. So he seems very hand dominant and never really loses his hand much. I'd say that's definitely a strength. He's a top roller. If he has a weakness, it'd probably be his arm and his side pressure. I think sometimes he struggles to pin people. I know he just pulled Krasimir in the Bulgarian nationals and took his hand, had him completely flop wristed, and Krasimir, after a good fight, was able to pin him eventually. So he does have a weakness, but it's not his hand. So it's very
We saw you do the flop press on the left arm against Travis, and I'll say kind of comfortably you beat him after that point. So do you have the same move on the right as well?
Yes, I do. I actually think it's a little better on my right.
And maybe from judging from what you just told me, it looks like there is a good chance that the match will go there.
I think it is a very high probability it could be a war. But I'm hoping to just control his hand and make it easy. That's case scenario.
Yeah, you know what? Last time I and Paul were discussing about your weight cut, and Paul was like, "Bro, Brandon is about to die. he's cutting so much weight." So what was that experience?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough experience. It wasn't like a vacation at all. I'll say that. That was far from that. I actually was contemplating giving up for a little while, and Paul and Doug Ehrlich were like yelling at me like, "I'll fucking cut the weight for you. You can't do it." And I was like, all right, I got to do this. So I dug in and was able to do it, but it was very tough. I was falling asleep at the VIP banquets and the signings and all that stuff, and no energy. I rebounded pretty good. I ate a little bit too much at first, but after everything settled down, I was good.
Yeah. I personally think that the previous match that you had against Arsen Liliev that was confirmed, that would have been better for you, because if you won that match, it would have not only given you some more recognition amongst the pro arm wrestlers, but also the general casual fans. But that part may be missing from this match because your opponent is not so much famous in the general arm wrestling audience.
Perhaps. Yeah, but I mean, the people that know who Stoyan is know how he's legit.
Yeah.
And not the same credibility or fame, I guess, as Arsen. But we don't know what level Arsen is at either.
Mm-hmm. I hope it's a good match, brother, and I wish you best of luck for that.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Pradeep, I'll give you my quick rundown on that as I listened to all of it. So I see it. I see exactly what you're saying, right? So like the Krasimir match was like, okay, you get to face a legend. So even if you just make it a good match, it's a win, right?
Arson match. Yeah, Arson match.
It's arson.
Yeah.
But Brandon got the match switched on him when he was midway through his prep. So you got to think he was, preparing to be as big and as strong as he possibly can. Now you get the match switched. Of course, it's a letdown, but the prep's already been done. You know what I mean? So I think, depending on how Brandon absorbs it in his head, if the prep's already been done, now you get a match that, like, most people think that you may be able to win, as compared to that one where they think that you can't win. If you go out and win it because of the prep you put in for the other guy, I think that's an advantage. That pressure that was already put on you for 6 weeks to get ready should manifest itself on the table on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, and I heard Brandon say that both of them are top rollers, so I didn't really have to change my prep for that. Basically, the same training. So
Yeah, and both
that
unknowns, right? So like, how do you research Arsenalia of recent? You can't. So you're battling yourself, trying to be the best version of yourself. And Stoyan is no different. So that just means, like, when we're on stage there, we're gonna have to feel it out after the first round and see, hey, how do we have to finish this match? You go in there with your ace move, and if your ace move doesn't work, you adjust from there.
Yeah. So let's discuss the next match, and that would be Leonidas Arcona versus Schoolboy. I have one complaint about the general arm wrestling community when it comes to this match. People are saying that is a not a celebrity, but a YouTube match or influencers match. That's the term that I've heard being thrown around. And I was like, when Schoolboy faced Herman Stevens, nobody called that an influencer match. And I don't see a world in which Herman Stevens would beat Leonidas Arcona. No disrespect to him, but to me, Leonidas would be a higher caliber arm wrestler than Herman Stevens. And yet nobody called that match an influencers match. We have one youth WAF champion and the other one, he's kind of a beginner, but he's doing good, beating Larry Wheels. You had a good practice poll with him at East versus West left arm. Good practice poll with Zurab Tavberidze. So the level is there. I don't see it as just an influencers match. What do you think about that?
No, I mean, look, we can't deny either person's fame, but that doesn't make them any less of an arm wrestler, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, Brandon and I landed in the airport. We picked up our luggage, and we're walking to go out of the airport and everything. And I looked over, and I double take, triple take, and I go, "Is that Schoolboy? Is that Alexander?" And I had to get another look, and I went up to him. This guy is huge, huge. This is not the guy who I remember from the United States however many years ago. This guy looks like a left tackle in the NFL. Like, this guy is a weirdo, and he's already a junior WAP champion years prior. So, like, he had bicep tear on the left or whatever. Like, this guy, it's not the same human being. He's very proficient, top level, clean, one of the purest top rollers you're ever going to see. Just because he did a bunch of stuff on YouTube doesn't mean he's not a great arm wrestler. And don't get me wrong, I think this guy, that Schoolboy, sooner or later, at some point in time, we are going to be discussing him in the top 10 super heavy. It's inevitable. And Leonidas is a super strong, like, whatever you would call influencer, social media, strong, like, strength world guy, but he also arm wrestles, and he knows what he's doing. This is not a novice guy. This is a guy who understands the strap, wants the strap, and knows how to set up in it. So this is a very good match. And, before I saw Schoolboy in person, I thought maybe there was a chance that it was going to be close. I do not believe it's going to be close. If I had to predict this match, Schoolboy is probably going to comfortably top roll Leonidas. And then I think he's going to test himself and meet him in a hook. That's what I think is going to happen. And that's not to take my prediction is not to take anything away from Leonidas, because I also believe that he is the top level dude. I just think that this version of Schoolboy is weird.
Yeah. I also think Schoolboy is the favorite, and the reason would be that Leonidas does not have that extreme outside Kings move on his right like he does on his left. If is something that he had on the right as well, or maybe he does. I've not seen that personally. Then I think Schoolboy could have run into some troubles, judging by the match that he had against Khalid Jashel, which was like really ugly at some times, but it was also a really beautiful match in some sense because many people complained about it. What I saw in that match is a complete beginner who's having his second professional super match. Khalid Jashel showed us hook, top roll, flop press, tricep press, king's move, everything in a single match, and that is always entertaining. So I also favor Schoolboy in this match, but I think it can get close.
Component wise, the thing that kept Khalid in the match was the length of his hand and the total strength and dominance of it.
Yeah.
Leonidas is a good hand, but it's not anything like that. And with like Schoolboy has incredible wrist flexion, and that's going to separate the match. I don't think that Leonidas is going to be able to access any pronation. And without any pronation, there's no way to really open top roll or open hook.
And now the match that you must have your eyes set on, and that's between Irakli Zerakashvili and Sasha Andre for the 95 kg world title.
Yeah. Sasha just showed up today, and he's looking thick, right? Like this. I don't know what the official weigh-ins are going to say, but let's just say he looks like full 95. And Irakli's a couple pounds over too, maybe like 2 kilos or something. So both of these guys look prepared and fit and ready to roll. If I had to pick the match, the hook puller inside of me wants to see Sasha win. Like it just wants to see the hook beat the top roll. But I just there's a part of me that thinks that Irakli has found his like safe space at 95. He's bulked up to 105. He's come down, and he's come down with without losing any strength. So he tested his feet in deeper water, and he's come down to where I really think his comfort zone is. I would make him a slight favorite, but I also believe that Sasha is a complete weirdo and has positions where he can stop matches that most hook pullers don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we just go by the bro science, you almost beat Sasha Andreev, and there were some questionable calls. We are not going to discuss that now. And Irakli was pretty much like out of your reach in that match. So with that logic, Irakli should destroy Sasha. But are things going to work that way?
And like we were like in the VIP banquet and like talking about it. And a couple like the VIP guys that was coming to watch, we're talking about that same scenario. Like, what if you can beat Sasha, and Sasha can beat Irakli, and you can't beat Irakli? I said that just proves the fact that arm wrestling math is no good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and it also proves that there is big time variance in people's style. Even if you say, all right, this guy's a hook puller and that guy's a hook puller, this guy's top roller. There's so many variances, and these scenarios do exist 100%. But I do think like losing to Irakli, that's just a goal that you have to work at to try and attain. So you lose and you learn, and you try and get better from there. So we'll see how it goes. This is the big one for me. Like this is a big one. This to me it will be the one of the. I'm going to be tuning in as closely to this match and watching as closely as I will be with Devon.
Yeah. And Irakli is younger than Sasha. I'm assuming Irakli is somewhere around 26. Sasha maybe 29.
I don't know.
And
Sasha's not old either, dude. Sasha's real young too.
I think he's 29. He may be 29. Like a couple of years, at least a couple of years. And physically, the last time these two faced each other, although they were at the same weight, and this time also they're almost at the same weight. But now, as you just mentioned, Irakli was up to 105 kilos at one point of time. I think he's just now the bigger human being, and the margin for improvement may have been more in Irakli's game compared to Sasha, who has been basically like at the top since the beginning. So that's why I think Irakli should be the favorite. If he was able to get one pin back then in 2020 or 21, whatever it was, I think he should be strong enough to get 4 pins now.
Yeah, you're spot on. You nailed that. And also like the in-person like energy that you sense. I think Irakli has a higher level of confidence just from what I'm reading off of the body language.
And Sasha is that kind of puller. If he gets one pin over you, I don't think there is any comeback from that. I've not seen anyone getting pinned by Sasha and then making a comeback after that. It just
Yep.
doesn't happen. Yeah. So okay, let's discuss Michael Todd's match against Frank Lamparelli. How important would you say this match is for Michael?
It's do or die, right? We're talking about a match that Michael basically asked for. Michael has he usually he plans everything out. Like he has a scenario in which he wants to test himself through and work his way back up the rung. This is the first rung on that ladder. So of course, especially when you're kind of picking your matches and you're coming off an injury, you're gonna have you're gonna add a level of importance to it that Frank's not gonna have to deal with. So I think it's a do or die match. The good news is I believe that Michael is back in better form than he may realize. I talked to Michael a lot, and I think he's accessing angles and strengths that he hasn't accessed in a long time, and I think it's going to pay dividends for him. But obviously, we're not gonna know until we see the match play out. But I think that this could be a 3-0 match.
Yeah. Because Michael has lost his match at 105 kilos, which was against the champion, so it's considerable. But he has lost at super heavyweight against Gennady and Revaz, who were not in top five at that time, both of them. And now that match is at 115 kilos. So losing matches in all three categories, that would be really bad. That's why I think you also mentioned it's kind of a do or die match. It will affect his upcoming matches as well, for sure. Yeah, Samushia versus Nurdaulet Haider Khan. This is something that may interest you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm a Samusha fan. That's my guy. And Nurdaulet, I think, poses a very unique challenge to Samusha with some speed aspects and some things that we don't always see Samusha in those tough, like catching from the bottom positions. I think this is a really close match. I think based off of Samusha's track record and looking at him physically, Nurdaulet also looks big. Like I believe he's going to be cutting weight to make this weight, even though he cut weight for Mindaugas however many times ago. But he's big.
Yeah.
He's built his body out. But Samusha only a couple pounds over, I believe, and also looked lean and vascular with a couple kilos to go. So he's put more mass on. He's won what 7-8 straight. Like I can't bet against this guy. I'd be silly.
How does that feel to be the only guy to be able to beat Samushia at East versus West?
There's all kind of asterisks around that, so I don't even think about it. I'll count it myself.
Yeah. I'll say, Paul, I'll make one statement which nobody has made about Samushia before. I think at East versus West, he's the most dominant and yet I'll say the least dominant champion. Why? Because he doesn't lose to anyone, but he gets pinned by almost everyone. And at that time, you're kind of depending on turning the match around, and this may have something to do with luck. And sometimes if you lose rounds, you may run out of luck, and I think this is going to be one of those matches. I have Nurdaulet as a very slight favorite in this match.
I like it. But I think when you look at it from that perspective, I think that makes Samusha even more impressive
Yeah.
because if you're able to drop a match in almost every match you have, or drop around, you find a way to win, and then a lot of those matches, the last round's comfortable. So I think that says a lot about his adjustment. But I'm with you too. We're not seeing a whole lot of 3-0s and real like quick wins or anything like that. I think a lot of it has to do with his style, and I do think that this one is going to be probably the most contested, whichever
Yeah.
way it goes.
Yeah. So before we discuss the main match, Devon versus Levan, have you heard something about? I saw a post on Reddit. Then I watched the East versus West interview with Engin, and he was talking about something that the athletes already know. That he was saying that I'm not going to do this forever. There will be a change of power or something. I think he tried to say or meant to say. What was that all about? Is Engin thinking about like quitting East versus West, like as an organizer?
No, I don't think so. Listen, I mean, you and I have known Angan for a while, right? I think things like that can come up in moods and things like that. I think the only thing that would stop Angan from being involved in arm wrestling or whatever or make him take a back seat in any fashion would be if like a major promotion came and wanted to buy a piece or buy the league out. I don't think Engen is ever going to let his baby go, you know. And
Yeah.
I also I fear, not fear, but like there's a little bit of concern if somebody, let's say Dana White came along and said, Engen, hey, we want this league. I don't know if I'd be as comfortable I know I wouldn't be as comfortable having Dana run it than Engen. So
Yeah.
this guy ain't going nowhere. He's got growth on the mind. It's not step away time.
Yeah, and I think my guess would be that the league is about to touch maybe $1 million in revenue in a year right now.
Maybe I don't know. I'm not privy to those numbers. I just know that this is going to probably destroy any other card as far as revenue goes. But I know it's also destroyed every card as far as overhead too. So the balance there
Yeah.
is always.
Amrinder, have you watched latest Dennis sparring with Sarichev? No, we have not seen that. So, Paul, you just told me that Devon is going to lose to Levan Saginashvili. Why?
Who said that?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, why do you think Devon is going to win?
Well, listen, like I said, if you probably asked me months ago, I don't know if you did, but I probably answered months ago that Levan's the favorite. And I do that very objectively when I say it. Like, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ, right? So I don't understand situations really where Vegas odds makes a challenger an underdog. So if I don't know all the data, I'm always going. I was starting out 60-40 Levan. I'm starting out 60-40 Levan. A lot of it based off of the previous match, right? But then when you start to decompose the whole situation and look at everything Devon has done while Levan got injured, you enter an injury and then you enter like the era of Devon, like the most impressive stint of his career. And you look at all the variables, right? And there's variables that weigh in the favor of Levan. Number one being Devon's size and weight, right? This is by far not the biggest Devon that we've seen. But when you look at the variables that Levan is kind of against, meaning, all right, we're coming off an injury, right? How the only tangible things we have to go off of is practice videos, which mean almost nothing, and lifts, which mean a little bit of something, because then you're judging general strength, overall like output, capacity. When Levan is several percent, maybe 10% off of PR lifts, I understand that could be the level of effort going in, or maybe sandbagging or whatever. But all I have is that data. And then when I see Devon look at his primary list, the things that he values the most, and he's up 5 to 10%, I have to kind of weigh that in. And then I start weighing in the really intangible stuff, like their interactions on podcasts and their interactions in person. Although both of them, I think, have displayed a really calm approach and a confident approach, there's just a little energy around Devon that kind of hints towards another level of confidence. And with that said, I look at the whole match and I say, like, how can this play out? And the only way that I see it playing out is for Levan to win is if he wins 4-0 and he wins fast, with maybe one last round getting ugly. Otherwise, he doesn't win. And Devon has said it multiple times, said it to me personally today, like, I am going to win this match or I am going to get structurally injured. And ideally, that structural injury happens in later rounds while I'm throwing caution to the wind, basically. So I really see that, like, that level of commitment making the match outcome be exactly that. Devon wins the match or Devon gets hurt. So Devon is where he's ready right now to put his structure against Levan and saying, break it or I win. So the real question is, if the stop happens, what round does it happen? Because I'm now kind of believing in either injury or stop, and that's how this match will end. Maybe it ends 2-0 with an injury, 3-0 with an injury, but I think it'll end with an injury or Devon winning. The real question is what round is most likely, because Alden thinks it's 4-0.
Yeah. So I somewhat disagree with you when you said that Levan needs to win 4-0, and the reason behind that is because I've seen a trend in the past. So I don't think Devon's endurance is what it used to be back in the WL days. Maybe because of age, maybe because he's slightly bigger now. And the trend that I've seen, as soon in many matches, maybe left, maybe right, as soon as Levan as Devon loses a round, I've seen him getting gassed out. So Devon's endurance, from what I've seen, is only when he's winning matches, or at least he's in close matches. Like, I know it was left arm, different arm, but remember the Kamil Jablonski match? That all of the six pins came from Kamil in maybe combined 3 seconds. And Devon was absolutely gassed out. He was like, he needed an oxygen mask after that match, while pulling for less than like 3 seconds, maybe some shenanigans before the ready go for about 5 6 seconds. But right after the first spin, which was a flash pin, he was already gassed out. In the Gennady Quickvinia match, as soon as he lost a round, he was already like leaning on the table, already gassed out. So I believe if Levan is able to crack Devon in the first couple of rounds, I don't think Devon will have any endurance left. And I know it was because of the injury, the bicep injury in the first match. But you go and see Devon after he loses one, even first round or maybe 2 rounds. Levan is like completely normal, and Devon is totally gassed out even in that match when both of the polls in the first couple of rounds lasted less than a second.
It's a good point. I think there could be several things to really lead up to that outcome. And I think you're spot on in that, like, maybe Devon is expending so much more when getting pulled through. I think that's definitely true. I know I can slow pull for hours and not get out of breath, and I can hit hard a couple of times and be gapped completely. So
Yeah.
I think there's validity in that, and I also think that the flip side of the coin is too, when Devin gets a stop or gets a good position, and he starts talking, and the match stops, he's deflecting stuff. I think his energy is increasing, his endorphins are gone, and I think a lot of times that pushes him through. Like, getting the stop is probably paramount to see him
Yeah.
take over the conditioning battle. So I think you're
Yeah.
on to something for sure.
Yeah, I think for Devon, if the stop comes, it has to come in the first couple of rounds, or the match doesn't stop at all. And I'm not sure if you watched the videos or not, but I kind of reiterated what I said in the previous match, before the previous match in 2022. I made a couple of predictions, and people are saying, Pradeep, you're absolutely crazy. I said Devon will not be messing in the grip, in the setup against Levan like he did against John for 5 minutes. It just won't happen. The hand that is much stronger than yours and also much bigger than yours, it's impossible to tire that hand out. No matter how good of an endurance you have, you just cannot do that. And that's going to happen even now, Paul. I'm telling you right now, Devon will not mess with Levan in the setup. You
I
cannot tire out. Like imagine you are gripping up with Levan and your endurance is like 3 times his. Can you tire his hand out?
I mean, me? No.
Yeah, but I think you get the point what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, and I think you might be right. And then we're also going to see, like, because Devin's going to have a choice as to how he wants to handle that setup situation, whether he wants to be the good guy or the bad guy, right? We saw, based off of the head games and stuff, we watched him with Hermes. He basically redirected the negativity, and Hermes kind of absorbed it. Set up. Hermes became the bad guy with the referee. Is Devin going to be able to do that with Levant? Make him uncomfortable enough to do that? I don't know. I don't see it though. So the question is, how does Devin respond to that if you can't make him uncomfortable? Does he keep upping the level and risk fouls? I think that's going to be one of the funnest dramatic things to watch play out. Like, how the cornering goes, and it's going to be, because there's going to be so many people there. I think we're going to have a vocal crowd. So there's going to be all kind of factors, and I would hate to ref this match. You couldn't pay me. You
Yeah.
couldn't pay me for this match.
Yeah, I think the only trouble that Devon is going to make for the referees in that match, I think a couple of them. Number one is false start. You can pay Devon $10,000 in a match to not false start, and he'll still do that because for him, winning is going to be more important. So that is the first thing, and the second thing will be, I think, once his arm is about to go down, he realizes he will be dragging his elbow maybe like 6 inches off the back of the pad, like he did against Mad Mask in WL second round. So that is something that I think all athletes, like frankly speaking, all athletes should utilize to tire their opponents out, because there is no professional foul where you get straight away a loss for doing those kind of things. So these are the two things that he may be doing, but still the prediction that I made before the previous match, I'm not completely confident on that one, but I still believe that the chances of Devon getting gassed out in this match are more than the chance of Levan getting gassed out, because of that strength gap which may still be present at this point of time. Last time I was willing to bet on it, Paul, that anyone
Who
who wants to take a bet with me, I'll bet Devon is going to be the one who will be gassed out, not Levan second actually. But this
you
time I'm
got?
not so confident.
You got Levon winning?
Yeah, I got Levan winning in this match, and I'll say 4-0, because I don't see Levan getting a win, getting a pin after Devon beats him in one round. Maybe once he can get, because I have seen that Levan kind of he gets bothered a lot by the buckle as well, like some other top rollers. Because if you remember the Hermes Gasparini match, Hermes put the brakes on Levan for maybe three or four times, and all of those breaks were when Levan had the buckle. When he didn't, Hermes couldn't even stop him for like half a second. Even after getting those stops in the previous rounds, still those were easy flash pins when Gasparini had the buckle. So maybe Devon beats Levan when he has a buckle, but after that one round, he can make a comeback, because now the strap side has changed. But
Yeah.
these are just guesses.
I'll bet you.
This time I'm not ready to bet on that. But still, I believe the
Not money.
Devon may get.
Not money. We're not talking about
Yeah,
money. We don't need a PayPal transfer. Why don't we?
yeah, yeah.
Why don't we like? Let's call it. Let's call it.
Yeah.
400 push-ups.
400 in a day.
Yeah, absolutely in a day. Not
Yeah,
even.
I can do that. I was just casually. I had never done more than 100 push-ups in a day, never. And my shoulder is so messed up. I cannot do more than 30 in one go. It hurts a lot. And I was just casually scrolling through YouTube, and I saw one Andrew Tate video, and it was like, if you don't do 500 push-ups a day, then you're a loser. I don't know what you were saying, but that was like kind of a funny video. And I was like, bro, I need to do that. I did 500 that day, and that's the most I've ever done.
Here's what we do. Here's what we do. Whoever loses, gotta either live stream it, like, or I'll live stream it to you, and I'll do 20 on a minute. If I lose, I'll do 20 on a minute for 20 minutes, and we put it
Okay.
out. Hey, I want if you lose, I need verification that you did the 400 push-ups, and I'll give you this
Okay.
thing.
Sure, sure, brother.
These are more interesting than sending
But what's
somebody.
the bet? I even forgot what was the bet.
Who wins? Who wins?
Okay, simple. Got
Simple.
it. Got it. That's
Okay.
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So I think it's going to be an interesting match, because for Devon it's all out. Even more than Michael Todd, it's do or die for him. There are some questions, as Travis was saying, that there has never been any time in the history of arm wrestling where one arm wrestler, at least in the last couple of decades, went to bed and woke up knowing that I am the true number one guy in the world. He was saying that Devon believes that, but there are 10 other arm wrestlers. There were 10 other arm wrestlers around that 2008 to 10 period who believed who can challenge Devon. But right now, it will be the true number one. And I think that's Devon's last chance, because if he cannot beat Levan right now, when there are some questions about his form, and Devon's age is, I believe, not going to help him in the future. He's 49. I think this is easily Devon's last opportunity and his best shot at Levan.
Yeah, I agree. This is it. This is the last hurrah. And I'm also weighing that into my prediction too. You know?
Yeah.
So like my only caveat to looking at it is like we're like when we're talking about we're betting a win-loss, that I think Devon, like again, I think Devon wins, or he's either going out carrying his shield or he's going out on his shield. Like I think that's where he's at. And I'm kind of I'm kind of like I'm buying into that thought process where maybe this ain't the last hurrah, but it's the tip of the mountain, you know?
Yeah. So how do you see Devon winning? Like exactly maybe like the first round in 2022 where Levan went sideways and then he loses his wrist. That's how you see that?
Yes, I'm wrist integrity. exposing the wrist integrity. I don't know if he can do it. And if he cracks that wrist and it's too far down to the pad, I don't think for a minute that Levan won't dive in and press it. That's the fear, is that he stops it, but only for a second, and Levan transitions. But I don't think that can happen in 2 rounds consecutive. You know what I mean? I think that would have to be the 4th pin. My only concern is that it's actually like an injury, and nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, so my question would be, what if he changes his strategies? And he talked about that on the left arm as well. He said that if he has a left arm match with Devon, he won't go sideways because he'll lose his wrist, he'll go back. So what if on the right arm he goes like the first round in the Vitaly Laletin match, where he couldn't go sideways, so he went back, posting style top roll, climbed over the top of the hand, and then went sideways. How does Devon outclimb that back pressure and posting top roll?
I don't know. I mean, if he can move Devon's hand enough and have a loose enough strap where he actually has the ability to climb, I don't know if Devon can counter that. I just don't think I don't think Devon's going to allow the strap looseness. And I don't know if Levan's going to be able to force the strap looseness. We don't see Devon get climbed too often. Like, it's either you're just defeating that pronation or you're losing for the most part.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's definitely a possibility for that to happen.
Yeah. I made a prediction video, I think today or yesterday, I don't even remember. That's exactly what I said. That's how I believe Levan is going to attack in the first round. He won't go sideways, he'll go straight back and trying to climb over Devon's hand. Because once you are over the top of hand and the match is close to you, then you don't need enough that much side pressure that will take your wrist. So I think that becomes easy after that.
Devon's fingers are so long though, and his ridge pressure is so good that I don't, because Devon's open top roll is, everyone like says rise, 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 but the first initial move is drag.
Yeah.
So if Levan stays in the center of the pad or at the front of the pad and levers up with true post rise, his arm's going to come down. That you know what I mean? Like when your lat versus the hammer curl rise, the lat is almost always going to win. And I do think that post is very, very important. Like that top knuckle, if Levan gets that up, keeps that up, and stays high with static back pressure and pronated side pressure and a deep cup, that's where we see the quick wins. But if he just, his first move is just to go lever up, I think it would be a bad decision, because I think that lat bring his arm down and he'll lose active side pressure.
Yeah.
And
I think the most
Devon will pull him off the back of the pad too if he has to.
Yeah, he'll do that for sure, because he'll do everything that he can. The last time that he's getting this opportunity, we will see what happens. So, do you know anything about the toss? When are the side of the table going to be decided, or is the good side already allotted to Devon?
Coin toss at the usually at the weigh-ins. We've had to do them on the stage, but I hate that, and I fussed about it a little bit. Like, we want to know what we're up against. We do the rules meeting, which is the day of, I believe, or it's either day of, or maybe it's tomorrow. But you do the rules meeting, you do the coin toss right there. Everybody sees it, and then you get your side.
Yeah.
So we'll know.
Let's see who gets the side, because Devon has got like maybe 18 out of 20 times the side that he wanted. I don't know how that system works out, but any match you can watch, he's always on the left side of the screen for the viewers. Always.
Some people don't care. At the beginning of East versus West, like the West was on that side, the East was on this side, and whether it was a right or left-handed match, we just took the side we came up on. And then the coin toss entered, and it was at the table, and now we're finally to doing it logically where it's at the rules meeting.
Yeah. So over 300 people have been watching us. So that's a really cool thing. I noticed this one thing about the vertical live stream. Initially, YouTube started pushing shorts. They wanted to get more viewers from TikTok and other stuff. And now they started this live stream in vertical format. It gets like 3 times the views of regular live stream. I'm not sure if you have noticed that or not, but you can see that on Engin's channel. Whenever there's a vertical live stream, the views are like 25,000, and
Yeah.
whenever there's normal live stream, views are like 6,000.
Yeah. Well, hey, I love it. That's awesome. That's
Yeah, big
phenomenal.
difference.
The
Yeah,
cameras were weird, but like, it's fine. Let's
yeah,
keep doing this.
yeah. For views, it's awesome. So thank you, Paul. What's next for you? When are you going to compete?
King of the Table, June 1st against Lachlan and Darren. I'm trying to get fat. Lachlan told me
Yeah,
I'm just a little, so I got to gain some weight. So I'm working on it.
yeah, yeah. All right, brother. We'll discuss more about your upcoming match before it happens. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, hey, I'll talk to you soon, Pradeep. Send me this link then so I can share it out for you quick before it gets too old.
Thanks, brother.
All right, guys.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. Tall Paul Hutchins Jr. was telling me to prepare for the push-ups already. This live stream went well. I think the battery is about a couple of percent right now. I asked Paul for 30 minutes. We got 45. That's cool. I agree with that. If Devon can't beat him now, he will never be able to. And if Devon cannot beat Levan in the first couple of rounds, he will never be able to. I'm telling you guys, there is no way this match ends 4-3 in favor of Devon. It just won't happen. If Levan has won 3 rounds, he will win the fourth as well. Devon needs to win maybe 4-0, 4-1, or the worst case situation, it will be 4-2. After that, no. Share prediction video. I've not recorded a prediction video yet, but we'll see. We'll talk about it maybe in tomorrow's live stream. Let's see what we can do. All right, thank you guys for joining. And in 26 seconds, the phone is about to shut down, so it's time to end this live stream. You guys are awesome. Please hit the thumbs ups. I'm sorry I was not able to read the comments today, but I think you can understand. And please join for live commentary as well a couple of days later.